Tube ligation. There you go. What are you tying? The tubes, the fallopian tubes. All right. You will see these models of the kidney. All right. I'm going to see however many I can get. We got the fibrous capsule on the outside. You've got the renal cortex on the outside here, this outer margin. The medullary portion there with the pyramids, the columns in between. My renal papilla is the point. The minor calyx is going to be this little cup-shaped structure directly underneath the papilla. And within any kidney, you'll have 8 to, I think it's 15 minor calyces and roughly 3 major calyces. And a major calyx is going to be where 3 to 5 minors fuse together to form like a bigger cup. Does that make sense? And then from the major calyx, we're going to go into the pelvis down to the ureter and out. All right? So I can ask any of those sorts of questions on here. Also, even though we did, oh, come on in, sorry. Even though we've already done the cardiovascular system, I may be stinky enough to ask you about the renal artery, or the segmental artery, or the interlobar artery, or the arcuate arteries, or the cortical radiate arteries, right? All right? I can't even speak today. So we got those kidneys there. You may see this guy. I may ask you about the renal pyramid. I could ask about the ureter. I could ask about the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder's got these little wrinkles. What do we call those wrinkles in the stomach? What do you think we call them in the urinary bladder? All right. And then inside the urinary bladder, you've got this triangular smooth patch of tissue called the trigone. All right. Nobody really knows what that's for. They believe it's where electrical signals are going to be generated that then go up to the brain and say, hey, we got to go pee. All right. Now, is this a male or a female?
Don't know.
You should know.
Short urethra?
Look at that little purple thing there. What is that? Prostate. You females have one? So this is a dude. All right. So if I point to this and ask you what that is, you should tell me prostate. If I point to the tube there and ask you to specifically identify that tube and you just tell me urethra, that's incorrect. What portion of the urethra is that? The prostatic urethra. All right. So a pretty good chance you're going to see this. There's also a pretty good chance you're going to see this guy. This is your nephron. All right. This is going to be my arcuate artery, my cortical radiate artery, afferent arterial, glomerulus, efferent arterial. Here's my glomerular capsule, the proximal convoluted tubule, my descending limb of the loop of Henle ascending limb. Did I say proximal? Yeah. Distal convoluted tubule. Here's my collecting duct. All right. This is my vasa recta right there, the blood vessels. Cortical radiate vein. There's my arcuate vein. Interlobar artery and vein right there. You will see this guy again. You're also going to see this guy. Let me get on this side of the table. You'll probably see both of these. The same thing, just using different colors. All right? And again, I can ask you about, this isn't working very well. That's not going to work well either.
You want to hold it?
Nah. You know what?
No.
As long as I'm not walking,
David, hold it. No.
I can take that off. All right.
Oh my God. I didn't see that.
Now, you got the pyramids, the columns, you've got the cortex, the capsule, the medulla. Notice that little adipose there. The minor calyx, you got the papilla, and then the arteries, the veins. Here's a pyramid that shows you the nephrons and the the collecting duct right here. All right. I probably won't ask anything about the nephrons on these models because they're so small. I will save it for that right there. I may use a picture of another nephron and ask a question or two about that. But here's my renal papilla. I can use that because that shows it quite well. You're also going to have a question or two about this part right here. You'll need to know the difference between the afferent and the efferent. What's the best way to tell afferent from efferent?
Thickness.
The diameter, that's it. Afferent is going to be thicker than the efferent. Then right here is going to be the glomerulus, but these, what color is that? Pink, peach?
Peach.
The lighter colored stuff, these are the podocytes. So if I ask you specifically identify this cell, tell me podocyte. If I just point here and say identified, tell me glomerulus, you're good to go. Here's the capsule, the glomerular capsule on the outside, proximal convoluted tubule right there. That model confuses me. I'm not going to use it.
You're not supposed to be walking.
Yes, mother. You guys annoy me.
If you die, we don't remain.
If I die, you get that same instructor back.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah. You guys, ladies, you can touch these. They're disease-free. All right. Every semester I see females that, hey, I don't want to touch that. All right. Guess what you're going to be touching the hell field? Exactly. All right. You're going to see any of these penis models, all right? I can point to the tip. And don't tell me head, that's the glans penis, all right? Testicle, scrotum, epididymis, the vas deferens right there, all right? So anything ending in ectomy means cutting out. So if I have a vasectomy, what am I cutting out? A portion of the vas deferens. In fact, when I'm done talking, I'll go to my office. Somebody donated to me their little tubes. I got tubes in a jar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thanks, man, for this present. I feel honored. Now, this entire thing with the blood vessels, the vas deferens, also called the ductus deferens, you can have nerve in there, you can have some lymphatic vessels. This is all called the spermatic cord, all right? Make sure you guys understand if I'm asking about the specific structure or the entire thing. So the vas deferens comes all the way around. It becomes the ampulla on the posterior aspect of the urinary bladder, which is this. Prostate's directly underneath it. Here's the ampulla of the vas deferens. Here's my seminal vesicle. Where they fuse, they're going to form what's called the ejaculatory duct. This doesn't show it very well, but this small portion right here is the ejaculatory duct, which then intersects the prostatic urethra. The membranous urethra is this very small section right there before it becomes the spongy urethra, all right? So here's the other side. This guy belongs over here. We'll come back to that one in a minute. You'll also see the female portion, all right? Now the funny thing is, for me, I kind of get tickled every semester. Because by this point, all you people think that you're experts in this part of the body. And I tend to get some of the lowest scores on the lab exam. Because apparently you don't know what you're talking about. You know how they work, but you don't know beyond that. All right. I can ask about the mons pubis. I can ask about the labia majora, labia minora. I can ask about the clitoris. This is the urinary bladder. Here's the uterus. Here is the vaginal canal. This region is the cervix, which is the inferiormost part of the uterus. Now, interestingly, ladies, when you get sexually aroused, the uterus, notice how it kind of hangs over on top of the bladder? The uterus will actually straighten out to form a straight line with the vaginal canal in order to increase the probability of what?
Pregnancy.
There you go, child support. All right? This kind of shows the ovary off to the side, but I'll probably use one of the other models that shows it a lot better. This diseased uterus, I won't use, it just creeps me out. The same with the diseased penis. So any of these male models that look like this are fair game, all right? Again, testicle, epididymis, glans, penis. There's the bladder, the prostate's right here. This shows beautifully the ejaculatory duct right there. Prostatic urethra. Feel on that. And so notice where the rectum is. Here's the rectum, there's the prostate. The doctor's going to stick their finger up inside the rectum, and they're going to wiggle, trying to feel for that prostate on that anterior wall of the rectum, okay? So you're going to see this guy again. This model right here, you definitely will see. Why? Aside from having the testicle that shows the seminiferous tubules, where the sperm production occurs, the spermatogenesis, this model also shows very beautifully the Cowper's gland, also called the bulbourethral gland, which is right there. All right? Now, when a male gets aroused, they're going to start producing a clear, what they call pre